This is a description of assignment 4 and how it should work. I've put the home page in assignment_4.php. You'll notice that this is real different than the home pages that we've been working with thus far. We had a guest book and a mortgage calculator, and don't throw that away. We're going to still need that, but we're going to put that deeper inside the application. This looks a little bit closer to a more traditional home page. We've got a few divisions on our page. Of course, we've got the logo up here, and then we have a division for the featured home, picture, and a bit of text about the home. Below that, we have another div, which allows us to have our web form to search for a city, for homes that King Real Estate is listing. If we leave it blank, we can click the button and see all the homes, or we can search based on city. And a note below of the cities that's served by King Real Estate. There is a link down here that will take you to what used to be your home page, a guest book and mortgage calculator. You will have to revamp that somewhat to make it so it's all assignment 4 named, and there'll be a little tweaking to be done there as well. We're going to add some validation into the guest book. One other division here is the Realtors division. Now these pictures, 4 in this case, they're all gotten from a directory, a Realtors directory. And you will read them in dynamically from the directory and display the pictures and get their names from the file names themselves. So let's go ahead and run some of this. I'll just leave this blank right now and click the button, Define Homes. And we see that we get a picture and we get this text here at the top that I call a grabber, and the city, beds, bath, price, the square footage of the house, and who the realtor is, and a description of the property. You've done some of this before in one of the earlier lessons where we've gotten the first 3 items here, but now you'll have to get the rest. And if we scroll down, we see more pictures, more information, and so forth, going all the way down. I think there's 5 or 6 properties here. Let me go back to the top of the page, and you'll see that it says current listings. If I go back and I put part of a city in here, like Tom's, for Tomsville, find homes, it says current listings that match Tom's. So show them that if they enter any criteria. Let me go back. The link down here for the guestbook mortgage calculator brings us to something like what we had before. The layout is exactly the same as you had before. Remember that this link here in the image, if I click it, it should bring me back to whatever the current home page is. Let's go back to the link. Now we're here. Now, I've added validation to this, and I want you to as well. So if I hit Submit Information, it puts out messages saying I need the first name, last name, phone number, city, the whole thing. I didn't enter anything. If I put in a first name, it sees that, but gives me everything else that's in error. So you want to do that as well, validate everything. Now be particularly careful with city, because city is not going to be blank or empty. We usually check these fields for empty. It's going to be a hyphen if they haven't entered anything, so you'll need to look for that. This is something we had before. You'll need to upgrade it so it says Assignment 4, View Guest Book, and you'll see a table of what is currently in the file. Speaking of which, remember that we have a directory structure. Let me get there. There's a directory structure where we have a CSS file. I've upgraded the CSS file to handle the new divisions with a king4.css that you'll need to create. The data file has things like names list, guest books text, these kinds of things that we've used in the past. So you're going to need a data folder as well. And the house images that are in a house images file and a houses indexed file that has the description of those houses. So you're going to need to use all those kinds of things. And here's the realtors as well, where we see the 4 realtors that are displaying on the page and their names here. You'll need to reformat those names somewhat to make sure that it starts with a capital S and not a lowercase s. Same with a capital M for Mary, and so forth. Let's go back to the application. So if I click on this, I come back to the home page. Let's go back to the mortgage calculator and all that. Again, the same thing that we had before. We have the same financial program. And it comes back and it gives us the mortgage calculation. Back to the home page once again. That should wrap up what you need to do for Assignment 5. It might look a little simple. There's about 4 or 5 files that you're going to need to get this to work. One thing I'd like you to do in the assignment is use an include file and use that for the validation logic on this guest book. If I leave this out and click the submit button, all of that should come from a function that's put into an include file that you use to validate the form. Try that out and get used to using it because it's a very handy feature. That ends the discussion of what you need to do for assignment 4. Try it out, try to get it to work, and then you can view my solution.